All right, welcome everybody. So this is gonna be I'm gonna do some Monster Hunter worlding going on here today. Obviously, if anybody's seen Monster Hunter World's had like the highest number of players it's ever had in quite a long time. With everything going on with the new Monster Hunter Wilds announced and all that fun stuff. So I thought it would be fun to kind of do I don't know what you want to call it, kind of a walkthrough. Be kind of giving you my own personal tips and tricks that I use when I play and all that fun stuff. So we're gonna start a new game. So while the unskippable cutscenes are going through, I guess I'll explain some stuff. So we're gonna do. I'm gonna play a weapon I don't normally play as, so it's gonna help me too. I'm gonna learn a little bit more about some weapons I don't normally play. So we're going to be playing mainly with the gun lance for this. It's always been one I've wanted to get better at, so figured now's a better time than any. So, I mean, like, if you've never played a Monster Hunter game, basically what we're going to be doing is it's going to be fighting monsters. We're going to be hunting monsters. Pretty self-explanatory. I won't get too much into, like, the story. I'll kind of let, some stuff tell itself. This is going to be mainly more of like explaining gameplay mechanics and stuff like that. So we'll kind of get into that once we get into not cutscenes. There are a good amount of them in the beginning, so you can enjoy the art while this is happening. Like I said, I'll kind of go through some stuff. So yeah, there's a bunch of different weapons in Monster Hunter. I definitely recommend, if it's your first Monster Hunter game, experiment. That's like kind of the name of the game of this, is experimentation. It's all about learning, all that kind of stuff, being prepared for fights you're going to go into. You can't just go fucking balls deep in everything and expect to win. You do actually have to kind of pay attention to what's going on, or you're just going to kind of get wrecked. So I'm going to kind of throw some stuff in, to kind of help you guys, because there's a lot to learn in the beginning. So I want to try and help that, because it can be kind of a bit much to take in sometimes, especially if you're a new Monster Hunter player that's never played one before. Definitely can get overwhelming. So we're going to see, what's... Oh, here we go. Character creation. Let's see, we're gonna go gun lance, so we'll just make a quick preset here. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, that guy looks nice and angry. We'll just go with that. Make sure he's got a nice, yeah, that sounds good. So, I mean, character creation, if you've done anything with the character creation, it's very, very similar. Nothing will really change depending on your appearance, or if you're choosing male or female. The one thing that is different, though, in this one, male and female have different armor sets. So they'll be the same stats and skills, but they'll just look a little different compared to, which gender you're playing. The first thing I'll talk about is the Guardian armor. So this is an armor that, how do I explain this? It's more so for people who've played the game before that want to start a new character and get to endgame as fast as possible. They're very overpowered in the early game, just to kind of let you get through it. If you are a new Monster Hunter player and have not played World before, I highly recommend that you do not use the Guardian armor. It will make you feel a little too safe in the early game. And then once you start getting into more later game fights and stuff like that, it really pays off to actually know how to evade things rather than just absorbing hits. So I'm going to start with not that, and I'm going to not be using that throughout the playthrough, just to put some more emphasis on how to actually fight properly. Just throw in Kryptic. All right. And then, so now you're going to select your Palico. Your Palico is going to be your companion that you're going to take through it. We're just going to make a quick preset of someone. Pick the Angry Man, because why not? We're just going to call him Claws, because I'm bland and boring. So, yeah, definitely I would recommend not using the Guardian Armor. I'll kind of show why in like a little while, obviously once we get into more of the gameplay. But basically we're a new hunter. You've come to the new world to go help with, you know, investigating, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna go through this little cutscene. We'll meet our other partner in crime, that we'll meet shortly. But yeah, so and also to the Guardian Armor, one of the main things is there are these weapon classes called Defender weapons, and they're kind of the same thing with the Guardian Armor, but on the offensive state. So they're going to be much more powerful than anything that you can get at that time of the game. It means you can defeat monsters faster. Again, I'm not going to be doing that, just because I want to show the actual, you know, feeling of what it's like. Because again, once the Defender weapons fall off, you're going to be doing a lot less damage, and you really need to know the ins and outs of how to deal damage effectively in this game. So we're going to kind of go through that as well. So yeah, we'll just kind of let this go. There's our handler. Depending on, you know, who you are, you're either going to love her or hate her, depending on how you like Monster Hunter. Alright, so as you can see, we have just crashed. So we're just going to kind of start going at it. And, you know, it'll kind of teach you, run you through all your basic controls and all that fun stuff. You know, nothing too different than, you know, any other third-person game you're going to be playing. So we're going to keep going here. All right. So, big mysterious stuff. I'm not going to, you know, really give away too much about story-wise. Kind of let people distinguish that for themselves. We're just basically going to climb. The one thing I do have slight problems with World is when you do start a new game, and you're playing through it with a second playthrough or whatever, you unfortunately cannot skip any of the cutscenes. Excuse me, which can be a little frustrating at some points. But all right, we'll get to the next cutscene here. So early game can be kind of slow to some people, just because there is a lot of content that you can't skip. I really like the story in World, so it's not too big of an issue for me. Just might be a little bit of downtime in between, you know, hunts and stuff like that with everything going on. So that's a big monster. We'll be fighting against that later. And we have the new world. So like I said earlier, there's a bunch of different weapons that you can use in this game. It really comes down to personal preference. They're very good at differentiating different playstyles. I usually don't play ranged combat. I just usually like melee combat. There are some ranged options. You have two bow guns, which are kind of like rifles. There's a light one and a heavy one. And then you also do have a bow and arrow. They do play quite differently from the melee builds. I'm more used to melee builds, so we're going to do something, you know, melee, obviously. It's going to start you off with a base weapon, which is going to be the sword and shield. Sword and shield is really good. I've played it with it a little bit, but figured I'd do some fun stuff with gunlance because I like gunlance. So we're going to get our camp here. Get our map. Map's very useful. It'll let you set waypoints and stuff like that. We're gonna have a mechanic called scout flies. Scout flies are gonna be these little bugs that'll basically kind of show you the way of where you're gonna be going. We don't have it right now, but that'll be that. So this is the first area. This is the ancient forest. You'll be spending a lot of time here in the beginning of the game. It's a maze. It's a very large maze. I still get lost to this day in it, after almost 1,000 hours in Monster Hunter, so don't get discouraged if you can't find out where you're going. That's all part of the fun. So if anybody's played Rise and hasn't played World, World has much more of an ecology base in it, so it's much more heavy on the ecology, using your environment to your advantage, all that kind of stuff. So we're just basically making our way to the headquarters, obviously, because we, you know, crashed. So we're just going to kind of have to find where we're supposed to be going. So yeah, she just said use the scout flies. So it'll put a marker on your objective, basically, and you'll kind of see them in a little bit. We're going to get our introduction to our first small monster. That's aggressive, I should say. We saw the dinosaurs in the beginning, those the Aptonoths. So here's the Jagras. We're not really going to do much to him, though. So throughout the game, you'll have a lot of small monsters that are just kind of there to inconvenience you, I guess you could say. So now we just got to go hide in some bushes real quick. I don't remember which bushes they are. Oh, here we go. There's one. So you have a crouch. You'll see the outer sides of the screen kind of turn black. That'll say that you're being hidden. Whoop, all right. That was interesting. All right. So now we can get on our way. Here, now you can see the scout flies. It'll kind of show me the way we should be going. This will also help later when you're tracking monsters and all that fun stuff. All right. So basic movement controls. Right bumper is going to allow you to sprint. Sprinting does consume stamina when you are in combat. So another main thing with World is collecting footprints and other clues and stuff like that. These will help you track monsters. It'll show you where they are on the map, show you how to get there, all that fun stuff. And then once you upgrade your research level, which we'll get into later, it'll unlock more information about monsters. So it'll show you like weaknesses, with either through elemental weaknesses or weak spots on the monster that'll take more damage if you hit those parts, which is a big thing in this. And we get introduced to our first large monster. Hello, Great Jaggerus. So large monsters are going to be the majority of things you're going to be fighting in this game. They're going to be the majority of it. We're not really going to fight right this second, because this guy's going to come and save us. All right. So we're going to run over here. And there's the gate. And then, holy shit, a fucking T-Rex. They're going to kind of just go at it real quick. We're just going to do a little slip slide underneath. What a beautiful looking individual we have here. All right. And then anybody that is, discouraged about, reading subtitles, you can play the game in English too, with English voice acting. There's also a third option. You can have them speak Monster Hunter language, which is the best way I can describe it. It's kind of like sim language, but the Japanese version of it, where it still kind of sounds Japanese-ish, but it's not really Japanese. It's pretty interesting. All right, so now we're at Astera. This is going to be your main hub for a good part of the early game. Most of the early game, actually, until we get into post-game stuff. All right, so now we're kind of just going to get a tour of the area, showing us where important parts are that we need to, utilize for either getting items or upgrading our gear, all that kind of stuff. Soundtrack in this game is absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love it. Then we're going to meet the commander. I'm going to kind of run through a lot of the text, just because I already know what they're saying. So basically, like I said, we're going to get a little tour here now. So we're going to follow this guy. So this guy is going to be your provisions guy. You can buy a lot of basic items from him, like potions and all that kind of stuff, which we'll get into a little bit later. Let's see here. Oh, cool. We're going to go see the smithy. So smithy is going to be the main place where you're going to upgrade your weapons and your armor. or craft new armor and weapons, all that kind of stuff. I will say that upgrading your gear is very, very important in this game. Your damage can fall off very fast, so making sure that you have good gear at all times is very, very important. So like I said, the smithy, craft weapons and armor. And then I think we go to Canteen next. So a lot of the Monster Hunter games have an eating mechanic, basically. So when you eat, you will get a perma buff to you for your hunt. These are also very, very good to know. It can be kind of overwhelming at first of how it works, but I'll show you a little bit, a few tips. We're gonna reunite with our Palico here. All that kind of fun stuff. Your Palico will help you very much early game. It does have some ability to heal you and stuff, so having basically, you know, free heals where you don't have to use your own resources are very, very good early game. So now we're basically going to be talking about that giant monster we were on top of earlier. And we're going to be kind of looking for clues throughout the beginning of the game, trying to track it down. All that fun stuff. Be the Zora Magdaros is the monster we were on. So we're going to be doing a lot of research. And when I say research, I mean killing large animals. Alright, so we're going to go to our first quest. Alright. So. Oh, yes, we need to go to our house first. So in your house, you can do a bunch of stuff. You can change your armors, change weapons, all that fun stuff. You can also decorate later in the game. So you can decorate your little house and stuff like that. Talk with your Palico, change your Palico skills. But we'll get into all that a little bit later. So first off, we're going to go grab a weapon. All right. So you do get a starting weapon for each weapon class. So we have Greatsword, which is more, you know, slow and big damage. The Longsword, which is going to be like a katana, basically. Very positional. Can counter and stuff. Dual Blades, very fast, low damage. We got the Hammer, which is going to be a blunt weapon. I'll kind of explain that in a little while. Same with the Hunting Horn, also a blunt weapon. We have a Lance. You know, I don't think I have to explain what a Lance is. The Gun Lance, which is what we're going to be using. There's the Switch Axe, which is a big axe that also switches into a longsword. We have the Trigonometry weapon, which is the Charge Blade. If you are new to Monster Hunter, if you like a challenge, I would definitely go with Charge Blade because it is very, very fun. But there's a lot to learn with it. It's very complex. But once you get those down, it can be very, very fun. It is a sword and shield that also transforms into a single large axe. We have the Insect Glaive, which is very good at aerial combat. You can launch yourself upwards and all that stuff. And then the three ranged weapons I talked about. We have the light and heavy bow guns and the bow. So we're picking Gun Lance. So the Gun Lance acts very much similar to the Lance, but it has a gun on it. So that's kind of what we're going to be working with. All right. So now we're going to go talk to our handler so we can get our first quest going. Big quick tip here, any of these big chain things you can use as shortcutters. So if you select here, you can kind of go wherever you need to go. So we're going to the canteen, where you don't have to walk around everywhere. I recommend walking around in the beginning just so you kind of know where everything is. So we're going to go talk to our handler. And we're going to go fight the small Jaggeresses that we hid from earlier. Alright, so you're going to go to your assigned. It's our first quest. We're going to accept that. And then it's going to tell us to go eat. So we're going to sit down to go eat. Alright. So you can either pay with money or points. You get points later. So we're just going to pay with money right now. So quick breakdown of kind of how this works. Majority of the time, if you don't know what you're doing, just pick the chef's choice. It's going to give you the best middle ground of buffs for you. So if you can kind of see, if I pick this one, it increases my health by 20, and increases my stamina by 25, and it also increases my Palico's health by 8. So that's kind of like a baseline. If you go into the other ones, the meat platter, meat items are going to increase your attack. Fish platter with fish items are going to increase your defense, and the veggie platters are going to increase your elemental resistances, which we'll get into in a little while. There's a couple different ones that'll kind of give you different buffs. You can kind of look through them if you want. But then there's also the custom platter. So with this one, you can actually pick which items you want. I'll kind of delve more into that in a little while, because it can be kind of, overwhelming at most points. So we're just going to pick the chef's choice platter, get our buff, watch the amazing food that we're about to be made. This is one of those games where the food just looks absolutely phenomenal in everything. Well, my guy really does not look like he's enjoying that. Alright, so we have our buff now. Usually the quest has to load. The quest is ready, so we're going to go ahead and depart. We'll get into it. Alright. So all quests will have a certain goal that you're supposed to do. Any actual quests or hunts that you usually do are going to be timed. You usually have a maximum of 50 minutes to get the quest done. So basically they're telling me to go to this place where we found those small lizard guys, and we're going to go kill some. So for early game, highly recommend this. You'll have a blue chest at all of your camps. If you're on an actual quest, if you open that up, there will be some free items for you to use. We're going to grab some first aid med kits and some easy rations. So the first aid meds are going to act as potions, which will heal your health. And then the rations will increase your stamina usage. As you play, your stamina will degrade. So you'll have a lower maximum stamina. So those will help bring it back up. So I'll kind of get into, I guess I'll just get into quick weapon stuff. So, numero uno, when you choose a weapon, if you've never played a Monster Hunter game, learn your weapon. Like, learn every in and out that you can of it. Because that will help you tremendously as the game goes. So with the gun lance, I have a basic 3 thrust attack. That'll just do 3 thrusts. And then the other one, so I should explain, I am playing on PC, but I'm using a PS4 controller. So I may use a lot of PS4 controller buttons and stuff like that when I talk. So if you use an Xbox controller, it shouldn't be too hard to, transfer that over. So yeah, with my Y attacks, triple stab, pretty simple. You do have your dodge, which will be your X button, or A on Xbox. So with the lance and gun lance, you don't really have a roll, but you have this little like sidestep thing, which you can do in all directions, which is nice. And then with my other attack button, most of the times you're going to have 2 main attack buttons. You're going to have your triangle and circle on PS4 or Y and B for your Xbox. So the circle button is going to use the gun lance's gun ability, which will be this. So there's that. With the gun lance, there's you have to reload your gun if you do run out. You can see the top corner. I have 3 out of 5 shells that I have left. So we're going to reload those by holding right trigger and hitting the circle button, or B button if you're playing Xbox. So also a little bit up on top there, you'll see a little blade next to my ammo count. That's going to be your sharpness. So with sharpness, it determines how much damage you're doing and whether or not you will deflect off of the monsters and stuff like that. So you do have, I'll show my hotbar down there in the bottom right. You have whetstones. You have an infinite amount of them. So at any point, if your weapon is not sharp, you can pull your whetstone out, use it, and your guy will sharpen your weapon. Very important early game because you do not have a lot of sharpness. So I would make sure that you're always consistently having max sharpness whenever you can, because you will be dealing more damage at that point. Sharpnesses have multiplication or damage multipliers depending on what sharpness you have. It won't really matter too much in an early game because of the lack of sharpness you have. But in later game, it does affect it. So then also right trigger will block with shielded weapons. Pretty much all weapons that can block will be right trigger to block. Kind of changes your attacks a little bit. So if I just do my basic attack when I'm not shielding, you just do that straight thrust. Now if I block and then do that same thing, you'll do like an upwards thrust. So better for hitting higher monster parts and all that kind of stuff. And then also, as I said before, the circle button will fire your gun. But if you're blocking, it does a reload. So that's kind of basics for right now. For weapons, like I said, if you're planning on, I'll probably get into more, weapon combos and stuff like that in a little bit. But as I said, if you're picking a weapon, if it's your first time playing a Monster Hunter game, learn your weapon. Mess around, find different combos, all that kind of stuff. It's very, very good to have that. So next thing is items. So as you can see, there's this little highlighted plant here. This is an herb. So if we pick this up, you do have a lot of things you can make. So if I pick up the herb, it'll make me 2 potions. Potions heal you. That's good. If you go into your start menu, there's a crafting list. So there's a lot of things that you can make in this game to help you on your hunts and stuff like that. Main things, obviously, potions are healing items. Those are necessary. Definitely recommend having as many of those as you can normally. And then we're going to grab the next important item, which is honey. So honey, if you combine it with the potions, will make mega potions, which heal you for more than the regular base potions do. And then, it's not going to let me. Well, we'll explain those in a little bit. So here we go. As you can see, for our assignment, we need to kill 7 Jagras. So we're going to get on it. Pretty simple. I guess I should explain that too. Most, or a lot of different weapons will have either a stationary attack, which is my stab, or if I'm moving and hit that button, it'll do like a thrust, a running thrust. So like I said, experiment a lot with your weapons because you'll find out a lot of stuff about it. And then the other big thing, obviously, with Monster Hunter is getting monster parts. So anytime you kill a monster, large or small, it'll show a little thing that you can interact with it, and you will carve parts. Also very necessary through the game. This is all the parts that you get are stuff that you will use to either upgrade armor or make new weapons, all that kind of stuff. So very important early game. Anything you kill, make sure you carve it because it will benefit you. There's also other things you can collect. These are bone piles, so we can collect off of these. They will also give us items that we can upgrade stuff with. My go-to is if you're playing it for the first time, literally try and pick up anything that you see. It will, obviously, if it's the first time you picked it up, it'll kind of give you a little thing explaining it and all that stuff. I'm going to grab these and I'll explain what those are later. And then we also have mining outcrops, or outcrops. So also, same thing as the bone piles, but, you know, with ore. And then we're going to go through here. So here's a lot of environmental stuff I was talking about. You can interact with these. These are flash bugs. And they will create a blinding light that will, you know, kind of make monsters confused for a little bit. There's going to be a lot of stuff I'm going through. So don't feel overwhelmed. There's a lot to go through in this game. But all right, so we killed our 7 Dragris. Our main objective is completed. So now that that's there, we'll automatically return to camp once the timer runs out. And we can get on to our next quest. I mean, so far, pretty standard stuff. These things aren't really going to be too much of an issue for you. They're kind of pushovers. Obviously, it is the first hunt in the game. So we're just going to try and gather as much materials as we can while the timer's running down. Might as well be efficient while we're waiting. Yeah, and then we'll actually start getting into the actual large monster hunts, which are the core of the game, obviously. Hence it being called Monster Hunter. Right. So at the end of the quest, it'll show you all your quest rewards. So you get items just for completing the quest as well, which is nice. So usually the quest items will correlate to the monsters you're hunting. So you'll kind of get some of the same stuff that you can carve from them, which is also nice if you do miss out on carving some stuff. And then some other items that we'll, you know, kind of go through later. There's a lot of items in this game. It'll also show you your completion time if you do like to know stuff about that. Like I said, usually you have 50 minutes to complete a quest, so obviously we did it in like less than 8 minutes. So they do give you a lot of buffer time to kind of explore and gather stuff that you need. All right. So now we're going to get another cutscene. Just kind of talking about, hey, you did a good job, all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to go to the smithy now and get an upgraded weapon. I'll show you how to upgrade weapons and stuff. So we'll go in here, talk to the smithy. All right, so yeah, you're gonna spend a lot of time in here, just, you know, doing a bunch of stuff. So we're going to, so you usually have, you know, two different. You can either make equipment or you can upgrade equipment. Some items can only be forged, and some items can only be upgraded. So we can kind of take a look at the forge right now. All right. So we'll look at gun lance. So these are the 3 lances or gun lances that we can make right now. We have the defender, the iron gun lance is what we have now, and then we have the bone gun lance. It'll show your damage numbers. It'll also show the sharpness, the max sharpness it can have. So these are the ones I was talking about earlier, the defender weapons. So as you can see, the damage on this is way higher than any of the other gun lances that we can get right now. I'm not going to be playing with the defenders this game, just because I want to, you know, show how you should be playing, rather than kind of playing with the crutch. Unless you're a returning world player, obviously, if you want to get through the early game as fast as possible, definitely recommend the defender weapons because they are very, very good. This also does have an element on it. This is blast, which I'll get into a little bit later, but it adds an additional damage to your already base damage. So right now we have the iron gun lance, so let's go upgrade that. So we can go upgrade. We'll grab our equipped weapon. All right, so this is kind of going to be your upgrade tree. So as you can see with the little E, that's the one we have equipped right now. So that's what we want to upgrade. So if you just go over, it'll show Iron Gun Lance 2, and it requires 2 iron, which we did pick up 2 iron in the last quest, so we can upgrade now. So we'll just select that one, and we will upgrade it. So as you can see, we're going from 184 to 207. And then we also do have a better sharpness. So the max sharpness on this one was yellow, and then on this one, it's going to be green. So a little bit better sharpness. And then if you go to the next ones, it'll actually show you what items you need. If you found those items previously, it'll tell you how much you need of it. If you haven't seen that item yet, it'll give you the little question marks and all that kind of stuff. So as you can also see, now that I have this one, it kind of splits into 3 paths. So you kind of have 3 paths that you can choose of what kind of weapon you want to go with. These ones are hidden right now just because we haven't seen anything else yet. And then for this one, obviously we can't upgrade it again yet because we don't have enough items. So we're going to go ahead and back out of here. And we'll go talk to the handler again. See what's up. We're going to go kill some more small monsters now that we have an upgraded gun, Lance. Talk to the handler again. It's going to show you about the quest boards. You normally can go talk to the handler to get quests and stuff like that. But you can also go to the quest counter, the quest boards as well if you're not in the canteen. All right, so we're going to post a new quest. Go back into our assigned, and then we have our next one, which is the Kestikon Kerfluffle. So we're going to fight some different small monsters real quick. Just as last time, we're going to go grab some more food. And then we'll be on our way. And we'll depart out here. All right, as before, we'll grab the free items from the supply box, and we'll make our way out. So this guy's going to kind of show us, where to go and stuff like that. So these are going to be the Kestidons, which are going to be these ones here. So there's a male and female version. The male version has the bigger head crest. The females are going to have the smaller ones. These ones will be like a little bit more aggressive compared to the Jagresses that we saw before, but they're not going to be too bad. They're not going to be as big of a pushover as the Jagresses. So yeah, as you can see, I just got knocked down there. So obviously, top right, you do have the green bar, which is your health, and then you do have the yellow bar, which is your stamina. Both should be pretty much, you should be looking at them whenever you can, just to see how much health you have. If you're going to run out of stamina, running out of stamina in a fight can cause you to die. So I highly recommend making sure you're keeping an eye on that. As per usual, we killed stuff, so we're going to carve stuff for more items. Here, I guess I'll show it real quick. There are also stuff in the area that will heal you automatically without using your resources. So these are Vital Lilies. If you use these, it'll put a heal cloud out, and it will heal anybody in the area. So those are always beneficial. You can kill the other monsters in the area as well. They will give you different items and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you get raw meat from these ones. Yep. All right, so raw meat can be made into the steaks, which are the same as the rations, but they heal more of your stamina, or they extend your stamina further, I should say. And then we're also going to pick up these stones. So now comes the most controversial part of World, is the clutch claw. So if you hold left trigger, it'll bring up this little aiming reticle. So you have a if you see on the bottom right next to my item bar, you'll see I have 20 out of 20 stone. So I can do a couple things with those. If I pull up my reticle and I hit right trigger, I can fire a stone. It's a little like slingshot basically. And then if I hit circle or B on Xbox, you'll actually shoot a little claw out. That'll be used in a little while. You can grab onto things in the environment. There's not a lot you can grab onto in the environment, but it's more used for grabbing onto monsters, which we'll see in a little while. It's a very I don't want to call it. It's a very good thing to know how to use in World, because it's very good of dealing damage and knocking down monsters, which we'll get into a little bit later. So for right now, it's not really too useful, just being we're, fighting some small stuff. There's a lot of ammunition for your slinger that'll be around the map. As you can see, I passed some more stone and stuff like that. So you can, shoot small monsters and stuff to kind of make them get stunned and all that fun kind of stuff. All right. As we do have a shield, we do want to use that to block. One thing with shielded weapons is blocking attacks does decrease your sharpness. So something to worry about while you're being defensive. So it's not, always the best idea to be blocking, just because it does eat through your sharpness pretty fast sometimes. So we're just going to keep going through. Getting some more kills here. Don't feel bad about getting hidden, stuff like that. I mean, these things aren't really going to do much damage. I mean, they're good to kind of learn how to dodge attacks and block and stuff like that. But don't feel discouraged if you do get, hit a few times. I will say, from a lot of experience when I first started playing, weapons are going to feel heavy. They're going to feel clunky. That's kind of how the game wants you to experience it. Obviously, we have this gigantic, weapon. It's not going to be, we're not going to be flying around and slinging it everywhere because it's very heavy. So when we start getting into the large monster fights, we'll start seeing, learning about more positioning and openings of when you can get attacks in, and stuff like that. So same as usual, we will be carving anything we kill just for items that can be useful. And we see a bone pile over here, so we're going to grab that, being why not while we're here. So for the most part, you can cutscene. So now it's going to tell us about the Great Dragarys. I'll get more into the footprints and stuff in a little bit. So welcome to the Great Dragarys. This guy is going to be your main punching bag for the early game. He's really good to practice weapons on, especially if you're new at the game. He doesn't do a whole lot. All right, so now we'll get into footprints or tracks. So as right now, it shows question marks because we haven't officially found the monster yet. So when you pick these up, it'll pull up on the right side here. It'll say footprints, and it'll have a little bar. The higher that bar is, the easier it is for you to find the monster and whether or not your scout flies will activate. So as you can see, the scout flies will kind of show me where the next track is because I'm in the area. But if there's none in the area, it won't really show me where to go. So we're going to kind of explore a little bit. And if we see a track, we're going to pick it up. And it'll increase that bar. We're almost at the first notch. Here's some more. And then you're going to find a lot of other items around like this. So if you never know what anything is, just grab it. If it's the first time you picked it up, it'll normally show you what it is. But yeah, they're very, very essential to the game. So also, as you can see, my sharpness is kind of poo-poo right now, so we're going to go ahead and sharpen. And that'll put us back into green sharpness, which is what we want. Okay. So, we need to find some more tracks. Let's keep going this way. See if we can find some more. Alright, looks like we found some more. Alright, we're just going to literally grab anything that we can get our hands on in the beginning. And some more tracks. And this should put us into level 2. So, now that we entered level 2, it'll automatically tell us where to go now. So it wants us to go. Sometimes they can be a little choppy in the beginning, trying to follow your scout flies. But as you can see, it'll kind of just tell us the right way to go. Go underwater here. And as you also can see on the map in the lower left, it puts the monster on the map so you can see where it is. Right. So now we are going to get into our first large monster fight. So obviously not nearly as big of a pushover as the small monsters we had before. So they're going to have a lot more health than what you're used to from the things you fought already. So we're just going to kind of start getting into it. And so what I would recommend doing in the beginning, rather than being super aggressive, watch the monster, watch their attacks, and then you can kind of figure out, what you can punish. So as you can probably see, he has a lot of lead up time to whatever attack he's going to do. So usually you can kind of tell what attack he's going to do before he does it. So as you can see, my Palico just healed me. It's usually very convenient. Certain directions will be hard to learn at first, of just having your position correct and all that kind of stuff. I missed. So as you can see, if you kind of whiff an attack, you can get punished really, really easily. So like I said, learning the monster's attacks can be very, very crucial of a successful hunt. Alright. So as you see, the monster is tired. As you fight the monster, they do get low on stamina. So they will get tired sometimes and kind of just stand around and take a breather. And then, so here's the next mechanic is monsters can run away from you. If you're in a quest hunting that monster, they will not, disappear, but they will run to a new area trying to get away from you. As you would think they would if they know they're not winning. So thankfully we have the scout flies to show us where they are, and we do have the map to show the location as well for us. I'm gonna jump down here, and now my sharpness has gone down a little bit, so we're gonna try and sharpen real quick. If you get hit while you're sharpening, as you're probably about to see here, oh no, you missed me. You will get knocked out of your animation. So it's always good to try and sharpen when there's nothing going on. Alright, so now I'm going to show you a very, very crucial part to World, which is using the Clutch Claw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim at the monster with my Clutch Claw, and I'm going to latch onto it, preferably the head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that, and I'm basically going to shoot all the slinger ammo I have into his head, and it's going to send him flying, and we want to hopefully hit him into a wall, because that will knock him down. So here, do this. We got knocked off, unfortunately. If a monster does an attack that uses that part of the body you are on, you will get knocked off. Can take some getting used to, so don't get discouraged. But it is worth it. So we're going to kind of wait for a longer attack. This will work, and we're going to fire with the right trigger. And as you see, now he fell down. So this gives us a really good opportunity to get some damage in, which is always good. Sometimes you do have to trade. You will get used to that every now and then. Sometimes you will just get hit. All right. Anybody that has played any Souls games, you'll kind of be more used to rolling out of damage and stuff like that. It's a little bit, oops. It's a little bit harder to do in Monster Hunter. You have a lot less iframes. So it can be a little bit more tricky for the timing. So you can see he ran away again. And then I guess we'll talk about softening. So when you latch onto a monster like I did earlier, you can either do the burst, which you can only do on their head to send them flying, or if you do any other part of their body, you can tenderize the area. And I'll kind of show what that does here. So you latch on, and then you'll just do a basic Y attack. And, oh, he's already running away. You can use the slinger ammo to sometimes make them prevent from running away. If you can... Ooh, I think I need to do it twice. Whoops. Basically what softening does, you'll see some scar tissue on the area that you attacked when you mounted. That area will get will take more damage. So even to the fact of, as we'll see later, some monsters deflect certain attacks if you hit them there. It's more armored. That will soften up the area and allow you to hit it without deflecting off and dealing more damage. So if you can't tell, he's kind of limping away now. That means he's close to dying. Also, if you look on the mini-map, he's got a little skull blinking next to him. So that means we're close. So we're going to keep at it here. See if we can get a kill here. Come back out. Block that. Okay. There we go. All right. So first large monster down. And then as per usual, we will carve. With large monsters, usually you get more than one carve off of them. So you'll get a couple off of these. And that can all be used to, make new armor, new weapons, and all that fun stuff. So while we're waiting, we'll just kind of look around the little immediate area, see if there's any other items we can gather, all that kind of stuff. There is a mining outcorp here. You can't see it, but I know it's there. All right. And I think there's a bone pile over here somewhere. Maybe. There it is. We'll grab that too while we're here. All right. First large monster down. Let's see where we're at here. So now we're just going to get a little more cutscene. It's going to kind of show us some new stuff, some new tracks, hopefully for a new monster that we're going to hunt. And there he is. One of my favorite early game monsters in the world. So we found some more pieces from Zora Magdaros. But we're going to report back. Fight another day. Got our little mission complete screen here. All of our quest items that we got. And then your Palico will actually pick up items as well as you go. So obviously, like I said, they can be very helpful of getting stuff early game for you. All right. And we're going to head back to Astera. But I think that's a very good introduction. We'll kind of get into more stuff later. But yeah, so that was the very intro to Monster Hunter World. I hope you know, anybody else that hasn't played yet, hopefully we'll get into it. It's a great game. Thousands and thousands of hours of fun gameplay. A lot of people will say that the game feels repetitive. I can see that to a certain point. Even if you're fighting the same monster and over again, I feel personally it still feels exciting each time you do it, because it's not going to be the same fight every time, especially when you're just learning the game, which I think they do on purpose, just so you can learn and, you know, get better at your hunting skills. So next time we'll delve a little more deeper into the fighting the monsters and stuff like that, more stuff on weapon upgrades, all that fun stuff. So yeah, we'll see all y'all in the next one. Happy hunting to everybody.